Hey, good morning, good evening, good night. I always say because there are different time zones and it depends on when you're watching Canyouth Exploration, your topic in the podcast. I'm Dr. Canyouth White. Women and money. Hey, it's perhaps a taboo. It's maybe an elephant in the room as it relates to women and money. This whole thing about how women think about money, the mindset as it relates to money, investment, and so on. But I have a very important person, a female, yeah, who would come and have a discussion with us as it relates to women and money and give some advice. And we always say that women really know how to invest. Women really know how to use that money, better than men do. And if you ask a woman for money, they will have it because they're savers. I will ask my guests about that, right? As well as some other things. Let Patti Handy in. Hey, Patti, you heard me, right?
Hello, I did.
Yeah, but first of all, before we go into all of that, Patti Handy, where that comes from? Is it a pseudonym or is it
No, that's
really?
my real name. I was born with that
Wow.
name. Yeah, in fact, when I went when I got married, I went to my husband's name, and when I got divorced, I went back to my maiden name because I liked it better. So
Yeah, I
Handy,
love it. I love
Handy,
it. I
yeah.
really do love it. It's a very nice name. And we're going to talk about a number of things here. But who is Patti Handy? Who are you?
Oh, that's a complex question. Okay, so high level, I am a financial coach. That's what I do. That's not who I am. I am a
Mhm.
mom first. I
Yeah.
am a daughter, a sister, an aunt. I am a server at heart
Hmm.
and love to teach at heart. It brings me joy and fulfillment to know that I'm helping others, which is why I left my job as a financial advisor to become a financial coach and be able to impact and reach more women. I work primarily with women, and it's something that I find very fulfilling, and I know it's very needed. After spending many years in the mortgage business and in the financial services industry, I had very similar conversations with ladies over and over and over again, and I realized there's a need. So I took a leap of faith and made the pivot.
Hey, but Patty, women are good at it. So why do you need to focus on that? Women are good at using money, saving money. Talk to me. I don't understand you.
Well, it's not about just saving money, it's
Okay,
about what to do with the money.
okay.
So, investing and understanding the markets, understanding all the financial products, understanding tax strategies, how to be really an expert or comfortable really at managing your money. And I found that a lot of ladies, especially ones who were going through a divorce or who lost a spouse,
Mhm.
where their husbands were doing all the investing and managing of the money, they were very overwhelmed. They were embarrassed. There was a lot of shame. There was a lot of frustration
Yeah,
because they didn't know anything about how to invest and where to put the money and that piece of it. The savings and the day to day stuff.
right.
That's just a small piece
Okay.
of the money piece. Yeah.
Hey, Patty, you won't escape this question. I'm not sure how much you saved during your childhood. Maybe it's coming from there. But tell me about your childhood.
So my childhood, I am one of five kids. I am number three of five kids. My dad worked outside the home, brilliant, brilliant man. He was a PhD in physics and
Mhm.
worked on this first space shuttle that went to the moon. He passed away in 2020, so I miss him terribly.
Brilliant.
Mom was an at-home mom. She, raised and worked hard inside the home, and because there were so many of us, when I wanted something extra, my parents would say, "If you want it, you've got to figure out a way to earn it, on
Mhm.
your own."
Yeah.
So I became an entrepreneur very young. At 9 years old, I started a candy stand in my
Wow.
house, and
At
I
nine. Okay.
the entrepreneurship started early.
Mhm.
Um, so that's when I started to learn to respect money, and
Right.
I learned how to manage money. Um, the investment piece, like how to invest in products, all that wasn't really discussed at home, but I had the interest and the hunger to learn more because of my parents' early teachings. And you want it, you've got to figure out a way to make it happen. So
Right.
I had that hunger to learn, which is kind of where that came from.
Okay, women, there are perhaps daily struggle that they have as it relates to money. What are the everyday struggles you see with women and money?
So typically, I see because of the, as I mentioned earlier, because of the fact that a lot of the times, and of course, this is not a blanket statement because one size does not fit all, but a large bit of my conversations that were with women who were going through a divorce or widowed,
Yeah,
the husband took care of the money, and they never really discussed investing. They didn't have those conversations that they should be having on a regular basis. Oftentimes, the wives didn't even know where the statements were located. They
yeah,
didn't know the
absolutely.
passwords to get onto the website to see what their assets were.
Yeah,
So there was a lot of just overwhelm. They were completely, and of course, when you're dealing with someone going through a divorce or loss of a
yeah.
spouse, you're dealing with the emotional overwhelm. You're dealing with the sadness and the grief.
Mhm.
And the last thing you want to be thinking about is your money, but you've got to be thinking about that. It's important, though, I always say, don't make any really big, important financial decisions when you're still in that fog of trying to get out from under the trauma and the grief, because you still need to take care of yourself and deal with the emotional piece of that loss.
Yeah, but you see, the common law relationship is not as substantial as the marriage, right? Is it that you're thinking, you're saying to women, have this conversation within the marriage, not necessarily the common law relationship?
I would love to see, yes, I absolutely, when you're married, you should have money dates. And by that, I mean, once a quarter, you should go out to dinner or sit at home with a glass of wine or a cup of tea or whatever it is you enjoy, and pull out your statements and review what you have, make sure that you're on track, make sure nothing's changed, what's happening in the market, what's happening with our statement, with our assets, and have a conversation together. And because it happens on a quarterly basis, you're not making this, it's not like a 2 hour thing. It's 20 minutes. You have a quick
Yeah,
conversation. You both know where everything is. Both spouses know, passwords to the accounts. So there's no surprises. There's no, oh my God, I don't even know where to start.
yeah,
There's none of that, right?
yeah. Patty, you have been in this business for a long time. What about secrecy? Have you seen a prevalence of secrecy within marriage, within the common law relationship as it relates to money? What's the password? What's the accounts that you have out there? We don't have a joint account, but this is where you can find this. And both sides, men and women.
Well, if it's secrecy, then I wouldn't know about it. So I have not run across a situation where well, let me take that back.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, when I was with my firm, we would have prospects call into us and say, I'm going through a divorce. How do I hide my money from my spouse?
Okay.
And we're like, no, we don't want anything to do with that. We want no part of that. We're not for you. Goodbye. So
Yeah.
we absolutely don't engage in anything like that. And I would be surprised if any firm would do that at all.
Yeah.
But if a spouse is, keeping accounts separate, of course, we wouldn't know that. They wouldn't disclose that to us. So I really couldn't speak to that.
Yeah.
I have seen where, there's a joint account,
Yeah.
and then there's a wife account and a husband account, and
Yeah.
they have play money and they do whatever they want with their play money, but they have a joint account to pay for the home and they pay for
Right.
bills and all that stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. And I suggest the money doesn't, it don't go to waste. So somebody need to know what goes on with the money when one pass away. Yeah. So that's
Absolutely.
critical. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
critical. Look, this thing about your recommendation as it relates to women starting over, be it a divorce. You said that you have talked to a lot of women who were divorced and so on, and starting over. Talk to me about that. What do you tell these ladies?
Yeah, well, the first thing that I talk about is really, oddly enough, or not oddly enough, but surprisingly enough, it's really about self-care,
Okay.
because you're in a situation where you are completely heartbroken,
Hmm.
and you are trying to gather your senses, and self-care is really, really important. um, you've got to find time to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You really have to. It's kind of like that when you're on the airplane, you put the gas, the air on your mouth first before you put it on your kid.
Yeah.
You can't serve your family, your loved ones, if your cup is empty and you're completely fried. So it's important to take care of yourself first, because you can't be in a position of fear and emotion when you've got to manage your assets. You cannot make good decisions when you're in that place. So take care of yourself first. Hopefully there's nothing that urgent that you've got to make a decision, immediately when it comes to the finances. Typically there isn't anything that's immediate,
Right.
unless you have like a large insurance, like, if your husband or wife had a large insurance policy and you're suddenly come into a chunk of money, then I would seek the advice of an advisor or a professional. Don't just take that and invest it, or just let it sit in your savings account because it's earning nothing, and that's not good either.
Yeah.
So ask for help, reach out for help, but only after you've taken care of yourself.
Okay. But Patty, you can see that when she had gone through a divorce, right? She might not want to get involved in a relationship right away.
Yes.
So she's alone. She has to spend more because she's the breadwinner now, so to speak, right? So she'll be spending more. What would you tell her, right? She's starting over and she'll be spending more. She's confused as it relates to how much she spend and what she does.
Yeah, so we go into the conversation of emotional spending.
Mhm.
It's called retail therapy, we call it. And oftentimes, we're all human. We all do it. We have a quick fix, if you will, when we buy something that we want or we like.
Yeah.
I often, it's going to depend on the situation with their cash flow, with their assets, with their liabilities, what kind of debt they have. It's really an analysis of their entire picture. But if they're in a position where they can go and get a manicure because they're having a rough day and they can afford that, there's no problem with cash flow, then fine. But if they've got a bunch of credit card debt and they're upside down in cash every month, then we'll have to have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
And say, this may not be the best time for this, perhaps later, but let's address what we're looking at right now.
Mhm.
So we'll look at their cash flow. We'll see what's coming in, what's going out, where's the gap. After assuming it's a divorce, what they came out with. Obviously your income is hit hard and your assets are hit hard with a divorce. So
Yeah.
kind of getting, organized. I posted a video on social media recently, and I said, if I were to blindfold you and I were to pick you up and drop you in the middle of the country, and then I would take your blindfold off, and you had no phone and no map and no GPS, and I said, okay, now get home.
Right.
The first question you would ask yourself or ask me is, well, where am I? Right?
Yeah.
So you have to know where you are to know how to get home, to get to where you want to go. So that is part of that, looking at your budget, looking at your assets, looking at everything today. And then through some conversation, there's a lot of life coaching involved with financial coaching. And we might need just to pull back a little bit on that spending, that emotional spending. And that's going to obviously just depend on the situation.
But before I look at the common mistakes that women would make as it relates to money management, and we believe, most men believe that women are good at managing money. But this thing about where you are, look at where you are first. After a divorce, after the death of her husband, right? And she's alone. She's confused as to where she is. I mean, where am I? It could be, oh, there's some account that I didn't know about. Now it's coming into play. Or I figured this was the case, but it's not. So I'm really not as wealthy, so to speak, as I thought I was. Right? Talk to me. It's impossible to know where I am, where she is.
Yeah, that's where an expert's going to come in and help her. And it's important for her to get that help. So it might be a financial coach, it might be a financial advisor, depending upon her assets and her situation. I would not just go online and search financial advisor. I would actually talk to somebody that, a friend or family member that you trust that has a financial advisor, and ask who they use and if they like them, and have a meeting with them. And most
Okay.
advisors will give you a complimentary meeting.
Oh,
Sometimes they'll do two meetings for free. And then just kind of follow your intuition. Go in there with lots of questions. If
Right.
the advisor is, fast talking and throwing jargon and not asking you questions and learning about
Mhm.
you, that's a concern. The
Yeah.
best financial advisors out there are the ones that ask a lot of questions and then shut up. They do a lot more
Right.
listening. They do a lot more listening than they do talking.
I bet
And
lawyers will say that to a psychologist, right? You talk. You shut up. I will give you the advice. You understand? Yeah, I like that. But tell me though, these mistakes that women make as it relates to managing money, we think most of us think that ladies are better at managing money. What are some of the mistakes that they do?
yeah, statistically, it's been proven that women are better at managing money, and they are better at once they understand the investments. They have higher returns on their
Yeah.
investments.
Hmm.
So it's just about getting them educated so they can then know how to do that. Some of the most common mistakes are jumping into a product that they may not understand because someone is trying to sell them something.
Right.
I always say that if you are talking to somebody who's selling you a product that's commission-based product like insurance or annuity, something of that nature, and you don't understand the mechanics of the entire product, because those tend to be a lot of moving parts and
Hmm.
they're changing, so they're always evolving. And there's lots of pieces to that are expensive if you don't
Right.
understand it. That if you can't turn around and teach that to a fourth grader, then you don't understand it enough to buy it yourself.
Right. Right.
So if you're in that situation, don't feel pressured. Don't feel forced to buy something just because someone's telling you, "Oh, this is really great for you. It's going to do this for you, do that for you." You still need to know what you're doing. You still need to understand what it is that you're investing in.
Yeah.
So that's a mistake, is doing something without feeling confident and knowing that, knowing the full picture of what that is.
Hmm.
The other thing is that they don't give themselves enough grace. They're really hard on themselves. We as women are managing the kids, sometimes our parents, the home, now the bills if we're divorced or we lost our
Right.
spouse.
Mhm.
We're going to the market. We're trying to, all these things that we're trying to do, make dinner, deal with homework, deal with sporting events, all these things that we're juggling, and then we're trying to manage our money. It's overwhelming.
Right.
We are just exhausted. So we are hard on ourselves when we are making mistakes, or we don't feel like we're doing enough, where we don't feel enough to or smart enough or good enough or whatever that is to learn this stuff. And that's just not true. I mean, we need to just give ourselves some grace and be loving to ourselves the same way we would be to our best friend.
How do I teach my child, my daughter?
Start talking and explaining, and have her understand uh, the respect of money. How old is she?
Well, she's very young. She's 1 year next month.
Okay, well, she's very, very young. Okay, so
Yeah,
maybe a little too young to talk to her, but
yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. But as she gets older,
yeah, well, I will say something. So a very big part of managing your money is understanding your money story and understanding your mindset.
mhm.
So she's at the age from 0 to 8.
Right,
Our brains are sponges and we take in everything that we hear. So if we speak in language that's of scarcity or lack, she's going to absorb that as her reality
right,
versus abundance. So when she wants to buy a toy and you
mhm,
say, no, we can't afford that,
yeah,
you should say something rather than we can't afford that. Maybe you say something like, that isn't a good use of our money,
okay, yeah,
because that is now turning that around to, you have control over the money, you have control over that decision. It isn't about you not affording it, because that's sending the message that you don't have it
right,
and there's lack. You have the money, it's
yeah,
just not a good use of the money, right?
mhm,
So watch your language with her at these
okay,
young ages. It's really important what you say, and
right,
let her know that there's possibilities and opportunities everywhere. Money, there's an endless opportunity for her to make money.
right,
There's possibilities everywhere, and all she has to do is have those dreams and to just be open to that.
yeah,
That's the abundance mindset. So this age is critical for her. So you're in a good place. But as she gets older, let's just fast forward 10 years.
hmm,
I'm going to say, um, okay, this may be controversial. I am not a
yeah,
believer in allowance.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I don't believe kids should get allowance. Now, having said that,
Yeah.
because I don't get paid to make dinner, right? I don't get paid to clean the house. I don't get
Right.
paid to do my errands,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
She should not get paid to fix her bed and help with the dishes. I mean, that's just part of the responsibility of living in a house.
Okay. Right.
But if she wants to earn some money because you want to learn, teach her how to manage that money, then
Right.
you can pay her extra money for extra chores. So maybe you say, you know
Okay.
what, I'll give you $3 if you vacuum the house, or I'll give you $5 if you wash my car,
Right.
or
Right.
something like that. I saw a post once where you put on the refrigerator like a paper clip or a clip on the door
Uh-huh.
with a post-it of the chore with the money hanging down. So like, $3 is hanging down for vacuuming the house, or a
Right.
$5 bill is hanging down for, the car wash or whatever it is. So she can see the actual dollars, and she can see what chores, and she can decide,
Oh,
oh, you know
yeah.
what? I want to wash the car. I need $5 today. Or I'm going
I
to,
like that.
so keep it like that, where she then starts to respect the money. She has to work for it. Right.
Right.
Then you can get creative about teaching her how to, to invest, and you can have those conversations as she gets older.
Okay, cool. And my audience, I want you to know that even though I'm asking for me, I'm asking for you as well. And those are great advice. That we should bear in mind as our children continue to
Yeah.
and be able to manage money. But tell me though, Patty, what women are afraid of as it relates to money? Is there any particular fear that women have, as it relates to money?
Yeah, some of the biggest fears that I hear, and it depends, every woman's going to be different, but a lot of the same, conversation or surrounds, I don't want to be a burden to my children.
Okay.
I don't want to run out of money. Am I going to run out of money? They don't know enough about their situation and the cash flow, and understanding how that's going to project into retirement, and really understand their financial plan to
Mhm.
determine if they will run out of money or they won't run out of money.
Yeah.
And I've had clients in the past where they had a sizable portfolio, and they
Mhm.
had enough money coming in between pensions, rental income, Social Security, to more than easily pay for their household expenses. So they may or may not ever touch those, that portfolio,
Right.
and they still would come to us and say, I'm worried that I'm going to run out of money. And we're
Mm.
like, no, and here's why. Here's why you won't.
You're right.
Unless you do something really dumb. then,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but if you stay on course, then you're fine. I mean, you have enough to go on vacations. You have enough to,
Mm.
and we would tell people sometimes, go spend your money. You're leaving too much. Go and have, enjoy your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
But it's again that mindset. They're born in the 30s, where there's the Great Depression, and
Right.
there's that fear based, right? There's that fear of, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my home, I'm going to lose my money, and that those limiting beliefs and that money story is one of fear. So even though they are more than comfortable, they still have that. Oh, am I going to have enough to retire?
Right. Patty, in my culture back home, there is this what we call the partner system, right? I'm not sure if you understand it, where you have a banker, a main person, and an individual will pay money into it, say weekly, right? And then one person get a draw per month, right? Say you get draw this month, I get a draw next month. Draw meaning you can withdraw from the amount that the sum will come up to. What I'm saying to you, right? Many of the audience might understand the partner system more well. There are some persons who use the partner system to build houses, right, and to do other things like sending their children to school, and to buy a car, and so on. But besides investment, what other ways would you think that women should use the money that they have, besides investment?
Well, I think that an investment in yourself is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. So I am a big proponent of, like, I've hired many coaches over my life, and I've learned some valuable, invaluable information from all of them. And they were expensive investments, but they were an investment in me. So that was awesome. I think it's important to create the memories. You know, you don't want to be on your deathbed and thinking, "Oh, I wish I had done this or that with my family." Enjoy the investments that you have. If you're in a position where you can go take a trip to Europe for 2 weeks and take your kids, then do it. You know, and create those memories, create those experiences. You know, money is not meant to just keep and hoard. It's meant to just, it flows in and it flows out. And if you hoard it, that's again that fear mentality. So, and of course you got to be smart with it. You just can't be, spending it loosely with nothing
Right.
coming in. You've got to be wise. But if you're in a position where you can do that, make those memories. Have
Right.
have that fun. It isn't all. Is this not just about, you know, getting richer and richer and richer? This is about getting richer in life, not just financially, but
Yeah.
having a rich life.
Yeah, definitely. I will attempt to explain this partner thing a little bit, simpler. Say, for instance, there are 5 persons, and each week you would throw $10, right? So that would be $50. So this week you will get that $50, even though you just throw $10 for that week, right? So you borrow into the $50 amount, but you'll have to continue to throw money to deposit, even though you get that $50. So you have to continue until everyone in that group of five gets gets the money. I just want to make it simpler in terms of
Okay.
explaining it. So
Yeah, I wasn't aware. I'm not familiar with that. So that
oh
was
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want that $50 to do something, even though you just deposit $10 that first week and you get that first draw, you have that money, that $50 to do what you want to, but you have to put back so that the second person can get his or her $50. Yeah, that's a partner concept. I
I
think
see.
yeah,
Okay.
it sounds more
Interesting.
explainable. All right. Yeah, but Patty, you have said a lot as it relates to women, and I'd want you to give your final advice on the show to women who are struggling now, cannot make ends meet, as we would like to say, right? And there's no male around, but they decided to do this on their own. Talk to them.
Yeah, I would, like I said, take care of yourself. Make sure that you are, and that doesn't need to cost anything. You know, take a walk, pray, meditate, exercise, all these things that you do to just take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That is so critical. I would then, take your time to, not too much time, but do, once you get out of the fog of your grief and trauma, start to take baby steps to learn and grow with regards to investing and your financial situation. Reach out for help and speak to those that you trust. Get referrals to people that you like and who they use. Do your homework and just take those baby steps. Every little step is, in the forward direction is a forward step, and that's great.
Yeah,
Doing nothing is never good. Doing well, I shouldn't say that. Doing nothing at the beginning is good because you shouldn't
yeah,
be making a decision. But once you're in that place where you can make decisions, if you just leave your money sitting in cash at the bank, that works against you. You've got to do something with that money to let it work for you. So,
right.
start to do that research, do that due diligence, and celebrate, everything that you learn and every growth that you're getting, and just, like I said, just really try to take care of you, and don't feel pressured. And all these steps will create that financial confidence that we all want, which will then create that peace of mind at the end of the day.
Hey, Patty, I have to give you a piece of the pie here. Your business. I cannot leave without you talk to us about your business, how we can
Oh,
think of it.
thank you. You've got my logo there. Yes. So I like that. So you can go to, well, there's two places you can go. You can go to, well, I'll give you my main website. Let's do that.
Okay.
PattiHandy.com. It's PattiHandy.com. And there is a spot there where you can get access to my training, it says you can see the Minding Her Money program. So Minding Her Money is a program that helps transformation with women. Again, specifically, I work with divorced, widowed, and single women, and it is a transformational coach. You'll come out the other side very confident, knowing a lot more about investing and money and taxes and taking care of yourself and your money story and getting out of credit card debt and buying a home on your own, and so many pieces. It's a digital course combined with group coaching, and I'm very excited about it. And I look forward to helping thousands of women over time.
Yes. Hey, Patti, I love what you're doing in helping women to manage money and to save relationships as well, because money has been a challenge in relationship worldwide. Studies have shown that
Yeah,
so it's good that you are playing your part to not only help women manage money well, but to help save relationships as you go along. Hey, thank you, Patti. Nice
absolutely.
having
Thank
you.
you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye bye. So that was Patti Handy. She has said so much as it relates to money and women, and how women should manage money and so on. We continue to see women as good at managing money, but yes, Patti is there as a financial coach, certified executive coach to help individuals, help females manage money better than they have been doing, and to, as I've said, to save relationships, right? In effect, and also to ensure that women live happier as they are able to invest and to use their funds in meaningful way. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching Canyouth Exploration, your topic in a podcast. Goodbye.